क्या हो गया?
We are live.
We are live. Can I start?
Yes.
And Mr. Kumar?
He's joining.
Okay, very good. Well, good afternoon, good evening, ladies, distinguished lady on the panel and gentlemen. You're from almost all over India. We've got two representatives from Bangalore, one from Hyderabad, and one from Jaipur in our neighborhood. So I'm sure we are going to have a lot of different perspectives coming in. A very interesting subject, I think. How are you embracing the new normal? Just before we went live, we had Anirban saying that how it's time we started embracing COVID and all the realities that come with it. To lead us, to lead a normal life. I hope we can all share his enthusiasm and optimism, and really see COVID as any other challenge that we live with. When we live with cancer, we live with a lot of other things. So I'm sure we can.
Sorry to interrupt. Chairman sir has joined.
Yeah, that's right. I mean,
Sorry, good afternoon. Good afternoon, all the panelists. Yeah.
Good afternoon,
Good afternoon, sir.
So, as is the tradition in our webinars, I'll invite Mr. Rakesh Kumar, who's the chairman of Indian Expo Mart and Center Limited. The Indian Expo Mart and Center Limited is the organizer of IHE 2020 and the previous IHEs too. So, Mr. Kumar, please start the proceedings and then we'll follow.
Yeah, just a minute. Let me settle direct. I had some connectivity problem. I'm not in Delhi, so.
Okay.
Okay. Just thank you, Sorry Ji. Sorry for being late by a minute or so. Dear friends of IHE 2020, our respected panelists, and our supporters in the hospitality sector across 55 countries who have been tuning into our past 16 webinars. I'm delighted to welcome all of you to the first of our resumed series of webinars and the 17th since we first started in early April this year, with the announcement that the India International Hospitality Expo 2020 or the IHE 2020 will be held on the 2nd to the 5th of September 2020 as the new dates, and will be brought to you with its complete complement of the conferences, masterclasses, and the Excellence Award, as it is benefiting of India's largest B2B show far in by the hospitality sector. Friends, as in our previous two editions, we will have exhibitors and visitors from all over India, representing, among others, the food processing, kitchen, and laundry equipment, furniture and furnishing, tableware and linen, wellness, consumer electronics, and for the first time, as necessitated by the times we live in, occupational safety and health industries and service provider, as well as contactless service enablers. We believe that there needs to be closer interaction between the hospitality sector and the industries serving the IHE 2020 is exactly the platform for such networking and collaborating pitches. As the organizer of IHE 2020, the India Expo Mart and Center Limited, that is IML, is keen that its engagement with the hospitality sector is year-long and not once in a year. It is to enable this kind of a comprehensive interaction and a continuing dialogue that we started our series of webinars on the matters of immediate importance to the hospitality sector. And I must say that we have been blessed by our positive response and good wishes for our effort. So when we opted for the new dates of the IHE 2020, we also decided to continue our series of the webinars in the spirit of sharing constructive solutions as the hospitality sector takes its first step towards normality. I would like to thank our moderator, Mr. Sorish Bhattacharya, who have always prepared very interesting subjects and also invite eminent personality like all of you on the panel to discuss all these issues. I would also like to welcome today our panelist, Mr. Ayan Dobier, Area Director, Hyderabad and GM, Taj Krishna. Welcome, Mr. Ayan. Mr. Mehul Sharma, Founder and CEO, Signum Hotels and Resort. Mr. Anirban Sarkar, General Manager, Radisson Blu, Greater Noida, our neighbor, basically. Ms. Kanika Hasrat, General Manager, Taj City Center, Gurgaon. Mr. Manas Krishnamurthy, General Manager, ITC, Windsor, Bangalore. Mr. Kunal Chauhan, General Manager, the Leela Palace, Bengaluru. Mr. Bini Sebastian, General Manager, Alila Fort, Bishangarh, Jaipur. On behalf of the India Expo Center and Mart, I extend a very warm welcome to all of you and invite the moderator of this webinar, Mr. Sorish Bhattacharya, to take charge and get the experts talking over to you. Thank you, Sorish. Please take it forward. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Getting back, we have a very interesting, I'm just seeing the people who have signed in to the audience, the people from all the way from Abu Dhabi to Jaisalmer to Bangalore. It's quite a mix that we have among our audience. A lot of people from the hospitality industry, I see. I can recognize some of them already. Many of you have just opened your hotels, and as the country enters the phase of unlockdown, you are really at the front line, because frankly, you're in a situation where there's no market. I mean, you don't have people coming into the country. You don't have people flying in from one city to another. And there seems to be no business happening which requires people to go out anymore. Because everyone is working from home, or at least most people are working from home. Kanika, let's begin. Your hotel opened, I think, about a month back. And what have been your experiences and your highs and lows?
So, Sorish, to be honest, we hardly closed. We closed only for 20 days. We had long stay guests with us, and only for 20 days in May were we really empty. And then, fortunately, we decided to go with the repatriation business, the Vande Bharat missions, and we've had guests ever since. The government in Haryana allowed hotels to open otherwise also without the Vande Bharat on the 8th of June. So yes, 1 month back, we had our doors officially open to any walk-ins, any other non-residents, etc. Restaurants opened from 8 to 9 p.m. at that time, and now it's become 10. Our salon opened. Our pool, gym, and all those areas are still closed. But I think the biggest learning at this time, it was a thrill firstly to open. To have guests walk into your hotel is, I think, was amazing for any hoteliers, and all of us were truly excited. I'm sure we had to ensure that our team stayed away from guests and maintained the physical distancing norms. But the learning has been every day. Every guest, their reactions. There have been guests who are so used to seeing our colleagues and associates, they want to come and shake hands, but we are holding up arms and saying namaste. There have been guests who have come in and just sat around because they wanted a change from their home. They didn't order a cup of coffee and just had a glass of water and went home. But that was also a learning from us. People are fed up of being in their houses also sometimes. But it's been a privilege to be open. We're excited. It's learning every day. Exciting times. We are learning also to how we make our team stand at that front line by leading from the front ourselves. It's not easy. We have to build pride and confidence in the team. It is about teaching them safety. Of course, everyone is worried about themselves. But I think the service culture, or Tajness as we call it, is really showcasing in people today. When you see them proudly say, I will go ahead and do this. Because the sense of fear which we all have, we all carry it, but we still need to go and take care of our guests.
So, Kunal, your with the Leela Palace Bangalore, with the general manager of Leela Palace Bangalore. In Bangalore, the hotels opened again, I think a month back, or thereabouts. Yeah, Kunal, you're on mute. Can you unmute yourself, please?
Sorry.
Yeah.
So Bangalore, the hotels were not instructed to shut down.
Okay.
So hotels like us, we continued to operate because we had guests staying with us. We decided to continue taking care of them.
Right.
And now that in hope of when the lockdown is open, some of the hotels which had no other option but no other guests staying in the house who had taken a shutdown are opening again.
Right.
But what happens in a typical shutdown like this is you kind of go into a soft closing, right?
Right.
What can't be taken needs to be shut down. You need to immediately go into a curtail mode, right?
Right.
So that's what we are opening back from.
Right. Right. Okay. So now, as Kanika was saying, that there is there's a fear among employees. It's a very legitimate fear that they may get into. They're like in the front line themselves. And
Absolutely.
they may get infected. Unwittingly. How do you manage that fear?
So I think the first lot of guests, when they start coming in, basically what happens is people who are staying with you, you already know they were in-house and there's great comfort with them. But the moment newer guests start checking in, I think there were few brave who volunteered to be the first line of defense, right? So we try to make sure that they are compartmentalized, they are in the hotel. People had changing rooms and staying rooms. So even if they were wearing something, they were changing, taking a bath and going into their rooms to sleep. So those people were in there. And I think what happens is the idea was to start with people who are already comfortable. Another important part was to be there with them in front rather than give directions from very far away and tell them that something needs to be done. I think that slowly helps build confidence.
And so how many rooms were operational or are operational in the hotel, and how many staff are working?
So right now, during the lockdown, we had about 24 rooms. And now we are about 75 rooms occupied. Now that number keeps going down, up and down each day. But during lockdown also, we had about 120 employees working. Now we have about 200 employees working.
Okay, right. So it's almost, about 3/4 of the staff is working.
No, almost half.
Half, okay.
Yeah.
So now, obviously there is a staff management issue. There's also the fear of the guests, which is, I think, paramount in this situation. So, Manas, because you're also from Bangalore, and, Manas, you have to unmute yourself. You're also from Bangalore, and I guess you're also, the hotel is also open. ITC Windsor, is it open?
Yes, it's very much open. We've been open for about a month now. We also had a temporary shutdown.
Right. So now, given that situation where people seem to be hesitant, like unlike what we were just discussing before we went live, that in America or Europe or even Australia, anywhere, Spain, France, people are really using this opportunity to go out and have a good time. They're going out to restaurants, they're going out everywhere. And in fact, there were pictures of the July 4th celebrations in America. It seemed that they had no COVID ever in their lives. And so now that's very much unlike the case in India, where people are avoiding going to restaurants. People are also avoiding going to hotels, of course. So how do you deal with that mindset problem that is quite evident everywhere?
Well, it's absolutely true that there are a lot fewer people wanting to come out. But once we open doors, and especially when we open our signature restaurants, there was an unprecedented move back into the city, into the city's restaurants. I'm sure that's true for other hotels as well. I think what's today limiting, so one is the subject of customer confidence. Brands like ours and like everybody who's represented here invest so much in PPE and our processes and our procedures, and everybody's walking around with a mask and a gloves, and there is sanitizers here, and entirely different service designs where there are no buffets anymore, there are no menus anymore, everything is digital. So especially larger brands have the advantage of instilling that confidence in the customer that we are doing everything we can under the circumstances to ensure you have a good time, a good outing. notwithstanding what's happening around the world. You are safe when you come to us. We keep us as us and our employees safe. We keep you safe when you come and dine with us.
Right.
Yeah, the other thing also is
But
that
has the message gone through?
I think so. I think quite frankly it has. The numbers have been unprecedented. We didn't expect these kind of dining numbers to happen in our restaurants. Quite frankly, while we may have some iconic restaurants in this particular hotel, that's true for restaurants across hotels across the city and the country. What we find as a limiting factor is the existing legal condition of, for example, curfew that ends at 8 o'clock, that mitigates people from going out late evening. And we are not a country that eats at 7:30 in the evening. So those probably are the limiting factors and not really the confidence that our customers have in our brands, our collective brands.
Right. So I think it's, I hope the curfew sort of eased, at least in Delhi and Gurgaon, it has been eased to a certain extent, but still not enough. It's 10 o'clock now. It's still quite early by Indian standards. So, Ian, you've been in Hyderabad and you have the benefit of seeing 6 hotels, and out of which 2 are operational. Falak Numa and I think one of the one of the 3 brands on Banjara Hills, as I say. What is? I mean, is Hyderabad any different, or is it the same consumer pattern you're seeing? And also, a lot of your guests are long-staying guests, how have they adjusted to the situation? Because I've often wondered, how do long-staying guests adjust to a stressful situation like this?
So we've got 5 hotels. Thanks, Suresh. We've got 5 hotels in Hyderabad. And out of that, we've got our palace that is currently opened, the Taj Falak Numa Palace, and Taj Deccan, which is a city hotel. And right through the lockdown period, we continue to operate Taj Deccan, since we already had a lot of long-staying guests staying back with us. And some of them choose to continue to stay with us rather than go back, because if you notice during that period of April and beginning of May, there was a lot more concerns in Europe and the other parts of the world. So a lot of them who were from those countries preferred to stay. They said it's safer here than actually trying to go back to our home countries. So that worked for us, and a lot of them stayed back with us at Taj Deccan. We opened the palace, the Falak Numa Palace. We opened it when the government gave us permission to open on the 8th of June. And this worked well for us in terms of the segments that operated for us during this period was basically the wedding segment. I think we were talking about this a little while earlier as well. And I think a lot of people who had plans during April, probably May and the beginning of June, couldn't do their weddings and their engagements. They kind of utilized this opportunity during the month of June. There were some wedding dates as well. And they actually came out and did their weddings with us at the Falak Numa Palace as well as at Taj Deccan. Of course, following all protocols that the government has laid down in terms of the 50 people, not more than 50 people, etc. And with all of our safety protocols that we also... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I think, with, the no Indian wedding is set to even begin with 50 people, 50 people is like the nearest and the dearest, So do you think these people will come back again to the hotel later? Say maybe in December or January when things hopefully will ease, and they come back with bigger parties and all that. Do you see that happening?
So, well, you will be surprised. I think we live in an optimistic world, and I think rightly so, with the kind of negativity that's around us. So a lot of them are actually, some of them, I see still a lot of people booking in the months of November, December, for 300, 400, 500 people, hoping that probably there will be some regulations that will be eased, and probably when cases come down, etc., of course, looking at what's happening in the country as well. So yes, people are very optimistic, and they are planning, they are willing to come out, even into restaurants, like Manas was mentioning in Bangalore. There are people, the sentiment is also quite strong for them to come out to restaurants, and probably which better place than to come to our hotels, which obviously they know the safety protocols, the level of sanitization, the hygiene is probably at the highest level. And for them, I think safety, security is probably priority one, and then probably the restaurant or the hotel that they choose. And I think we spend a lot of time focusing on our safety and security part of it. And that's where we launched, like Kanika mentioned, Tajness, which was commitment re-strengthened, where we said we'll continue with Tajness, which is our great warm caring service to all our stakeholders, but obviously with the entire new safety protocols as well.
Right, right. So, Mehul, you're in a little different business. I mean, you're in the hospitality business, but you run a chain of, resort properties. And
it's a combination of business hotel to palace. You've got port, one Haveli, a few residences. So it's a combination of all.
So are these open or?
Yeah, currently three are open. Two in Jaipur and one in Uttarakhand. So these are about the Jaipur one is about 75 rooms and 55 rooms. One is a palace, one is a regular city hotel near GICC, and in Uttarakhand is a resort. Shimla, we've got the Woodville Palace. That's unfortunately not open. It's
really? Such a lovely property, isn't it?
It's a lovely property indeed, but not open as yet. We just signed up 2 more hotels, one in Kodaikanal and one in Bangalore, and running property.
But this is a question we've asked earlier, because there was always this doubt, and this was expressed by many people in the previous panels, that, in big city hotels, big hotels, you can implement the stringent SOPs now in place, the sanitary and the health related SOPs. What about a place like Uttarakhand, some little town there, I mean, do you have the wherewithal to implement the SOPs?
So, it all depends on the company, the people, what we hire are typically ones from the hotels. Since I come from Taj, we've got half of the team either from the Taj or the ITC. Like in the south, it's the entire operations is handled by Mr. B.K. Mohan Kumar. So any property which we take, essentially, even if it's a 70-room property or a 60-room property, we ensure that all the standards are implemented. See, it's not about where we are, it's about who's driving what. So even if it's a resort for 22 rooms or 30 rooms, the operation manager essentially is the one who gets inducted into our system. He comes to our corporate office, spends about 15 days, understands the various protocols, whatever SOPs, and that is where he ensures that this is the same which gets implemented. So it's not at all. It's all about training. It's all about the training that happens twice or thrice in a day. It's all about interaction. It's all about the board getting down to the level of the person who is at the front line, as Kunal mentioned, and giving them the level of comfort. It's all about. So we've not faced any problems.
So you have you make sure. I mean, do you have your own SOPs in place, or have you taken the SOPs from other international agencies?
No, we've made our own. Everything is everything. So all our PMS to channel manager, our own loyalty program, to our own digital QR, everything is in house. So we don't see. It's always better to make your own SOPs because each SOP is customized to the nature of the hotel and the brand standard of what you have. If I've got a Haveli in a place called Port Dunara in Luni, that's a beautiful 750-year-old Haveli. It cannot have an SOP which is of a palace or a brand standard of a palace. It is customized for that particular property itself. So all brand standards fall under the category either of a resort or a business hotel or the apartments and residences and stuff like that. So that's how we've put across our entire brand architecture.
Right. Okay. So, because again, these palace properties always leave question marks, that do they have SOPs in place? But like you're saying, you do customize SOPs for each, grade of property that you have.
Correct. So essentially, if you've got a resort in the hills or you at the sea, you cannot have similar SOPs. Right from check-ins to check-outs, the brand architecture remains the same, but SOPs are customized based on where they're located, the nature of people, the culture, and based on how and what sort of clientele and the target segment essentially comes in. So we've customized all of that.
Now, so which brings me, Billy, you are also you're heading a resort property, resort hotel, you're not, of course, it's not operational right now, but I hope it will become operational soon. It's such a pretty property. Now, what is it like? Most of your staff is local, if I'm gathered, and they don't, all of them don't necessarily have, may not have gone to an IHM or they're all locally trained, mostly trained by you guys. Do you think they can how are you going about training them in this new hygiene requirements?
So we've, that's for me, right?
Yeah, yeah. No, Binny, that's for Binny. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, my apologies. My apologies.
That's okay.
Yeah, Binny's
We
lesson
cross connection. That's okay.
All right.
He's a
Yeah.
general manager of Alila Bishangarh,
Right.
which is, again, as I said, a very pretty
We
hotel.
face the same challenges what Binny would face. So
Yeah, okay. Good, let's hear from you.
Right. Look, yeah, thank you. Suresh, first of all, thank you very much for the opportunity to come on this panel. You're right. We do have our team members who are from local, and we this is what we prefer. This is what the DNA of Alila is, to be part of the community. So we collect, we try to find a talent pool within the community and try to train them. And, but I'm in the opinion that any high-end hotel or resort, which is in a remote location, they always have a high standard of cleanliness and hygiene. They always have it. And the training for us on these matters is always continuity. But by saying this, we have to be compatible with the situation we have right now. So we need to keep tackling. So what we're doing is we have ongoing training program. Of course, we are not operationally functioning right now. So some of the team members are working. We still have to maintain the fort because we have the storms and we got the rains. We got, it's 22 acres open, right? It's not in the middle of the city. So the team member who is on property and off property, we have program in place where the on property always, we pretty much every day on daily basis, we have a training program. The team members who are on, at home, so we make sure that twice a week, we take them on a Zoom call and we keep, refreshing that what need to be done as basic as possible, which is the hand hygiene, sanitization, things to make sure that, when they come on board, when we open, we don't have to start all over again. So they stay on board. So this is exactly what we're doing. And especially with Hyatt and Alila, Alila is part of Hyatt, for us, the focus is always safety first and well-being always. So we continue to do that.
Right. And, Anirban, you heard Binny, you heard Mehul, of course, I think you have had extensive, experience in handling quarantine procedures, like Kanika in Gurgaon, you've had doctors staying with you since the beginning, since April, I think.
Yeah, I think
doctors and nurses.
Yeah, doctors, healthcare workers, and nurses, paramedics. So
now they went through a particular hygiene, because they were there. You were exposed to certain hygiene standards right at the beginning.
Right.
Yeah. Now, what are those things which are relevant now? Now it's your hotel is operational, I guess.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I would say it's been a great learning and experience, because this experience as a hotelier, probably I wouldn't have had got ever. So it came our way. We have done more than 5,000 room nights in the last 3 months. So those room nights we have done. And the learning has been quite interesting, I would say. First of all, I think most of us are aware of the basic hygiene protocols that are to be followed, that are being followed in different hotels. But what we learned is very interesting. The learning was, the infection, actually, if you look at the infection, only spreads through eyes, nose, and mouth. So basically, if these 3 portions are safeguarded, then the chances of infection reduces substantially. Now, Center of Disease Control also confirms that surface-to-surface infection is very less. It's almost negligible. Most of the infections are airborne. So social distancing and covering or making sure that, the 3 parts of the face are not exposed. These 2 things are extremely important. Now, when we looked at the doctors who had been the frontline workers for the last 3 months and have not got infected, they have handled so many patients, and how they were conducting themselves, we have had the opportunity to talk to them. They actually also had kind of briefed our staff, so that they follow the protocol properly. So what we have realized is, if these protocols are followed properly, then chances of infection goes down drastically, and that's proven that we have seen. And just to let you know, during the passive quarantine days, we have had 15 guests who were, infected. But thankfully, touch wood, none of our staff got infected, despite of being there 24 hours in the hotel. So we have been able to, follow the protocols rightly. And I think the basic protocols are this, apart from the basic hygiene processes. And another thing I would like to reiterate is, there is a chance of infection spreading through food. Food in the sense, of course, cold food or plates and glasses. If they're not, sanitized properly, then there are chances that the infection is spread. So these 2 areas are to be very, very well looked after. So that's
that brings you to food, because now, whatever little I know, it says that food, COVID, the virus, the coronavirus, does not. It needs a live environment to multiply or to spread. And now, food we know is not a live environment. And so, how does this virus spread through food?
No, it's not through food in the sense. I mean, if there are droplets which have fallen on plate or food, and if you are consuming it within a specified period of time, till the time the virus is neutralized, then there are chances that's how surface to surface transmission happens. So,
both to the plate, the tableware,
Yeah.
Okay. That's where you have to be very careful.
Yeah.
And what are you doing in your hotel to safeguard your guests from that?
I think being part of the RHG group, obviously RHG has rolled out an international safety protocol in association with SGS, world leading in hygiene and safety audit and implementation. So we have, we are following that strictly. And because we have had the opportunity of working with the government so closely, so they have had their own protocols which had to be adhered to. So with those 2 things in places, I think we are pretty much following everything that one should in a hotel like ours.
Right. So, that is, I think we have a framework for discussion, now. Kanika, you have seen weddings at your hotel.
Very much.
And I think 28th June was especially a busy day. So
28th and 29th.
29th, okay. So 2 Saya days you had. So tell me, how were the weddings conducted? What are the precautions you took, and what are the learnings you got?
So, like you rightfully said, an Indian wedding with 50 people can be a huge question. But the beauty of it is, guests, when they booked, they were aware of it. They had to do a wedding. It was a tough time. And for us at that time, it was about empathy and support for them. As a brand, our docket on how our safety norms are, which is touchiness, commitment, restrengthened, it has been shared openly across with customers, with vendors, with partners, because we want everyone to be aware of the standards they can expect when they walk in, and even educate smaller organizations on what the standards they could follow. So guests, when they walked in, yes, we had non-invasive thermal screening. We had a form filled out by every guest at the main porch itself, which is the government mandate also. There, Arogya Setu was used very effectively. Apart from that, of course, your sanitization stands, your associates, all my associates, obviously in complete PPE, which included face shields. Because whether we like it or not, when you're in a wedding and you're eating food or drinking something, your mask is off.
Right.
So it is our prerogative to keep our team safe while guests may enjoy a meal. So those were things which were huge learnings. Yes, we did our menus even before. We didn't expect guests to come for food tastings and visit the hotel multiple times. That would have happened in the past. What we had was all contactless menus, barcode readers installed in areas for them. Even if they wanted service, they could reach out. We had limited associates in areas, as well as distancing between tables.
So tell me, coming to the buffet layout, now there will be spoons, there will be plates, and there's so many points of contact there. We just heard about that the main points of contact. So how do you prevent transmission?
Every standard of ours emphasize that nothing has to be picked up by individual guests. It's only sanitized, glove-clad associates who serve the food. So every counter literally has as per standard associates standing behind it. We had queue managers, we had people standing so that they maintain their distance, and you didn't really form a queue at the place. We didn't encourage or we didn't do any snack service per se. We offered guests that they help themselves. The maximum we could do was keep individual portions in front of them on the tables, so that they're not over servicing also. So yes, a lot of our standards or the Sajan code, etc., of the weddings of the past have changed, and rightfully so. And very honestly, guests have been as accommodating, as welcoming, because they know the circumstances the event is happening under also, and they want their family safety, apart from, of course, our concern also being our team's.
Right. So Ian, that brings me to you. Have you had any weddings at Falaknuma?
So yes, like I mentioned earlier, Sarish, we did a few weddings at the Falaknuma Palace.
Again, has your experience, of course, you're guided with the same SOPs. Has your experience been the same as Kanika's? I mean, do you find people themselves maintaining social distance, or how do you ensure the social distancing?
So yes, if you ask me, it is a challenge in the sense that while everybody is aware of the entire COVID-19, I call it the SMS, which is basically sanitize, wear a mask, and social distancing. I'm sure all of us are aware of that. But we try and reinforce this with our guests as well, where we give them a briefing even before, while even they're making their bookings, etc. So we actually, some of them are aware of it, but it's only a matter of reinforcing that. That's one. The second thing is we encourage a lot of our guests to actually do pre-plated, because 50 is not a large number, right? So rather than, because if you ask me right now in restaurants, buffet is a thing of the past.
Right.
And, so we encourage people to actually do a lot of pre-plated on the table. So there's absolutely no question of a guest moving around. So he's seated at a table with enough of social distancing, etc., which has also worked at the palace. But yes, if there are some people who do insist on a buffet, then we follow those protocols and norms where we have enough of space between each dish. There are only our associates to do the serving. Guests maintain that 6 feet because we give markings on the floorings for them to maintain that distance. So I think by and large, all of that has worked pretty well for us.
So, Kunal, we all are aware that, there is a feeling, I mean, justifiably so, and it has been borne out by experience that banqueting is a very major part of the F&B revenues of any hotel, And now with this 15% rule, it is going to be hit. The business is going to be hit. You also won't have many MICE events happening, say a city like Bangalore or Hyderabad or Delhi, Gurgaon. We would depend a lot on the MICE business. Now, how do you, prepare for the situation where the MICE business is down, the banqueting is down? How do you work on it?
So very clearly, there are two parts of it. One is at the present moment, when there is no certainty as to what are the rules going to be next month and the month after that, right? So like somebody just mentioned, we Indians are pretty optimistic. I know personally of a lot of guests who booked events with us 1 month down the line, 2 months down the line on only one term and condition that I will allow them to shift the date as and when they please, and which in all fairness is the right thing to do so. So we still we are still getting a lot of queries and traction, right? And people are very clear that they know that today the rule is 50. They have their list in their mind for 100, 150, 200. and they are very open to ramping that up. Yes, occupancies are going to dwindle, and I think what is going to happen is, as much as your MICE is very fiercely going to be competed between various existing hotels in that ComSet market, banqueting is going to get pricier because when we start opening bigger halls and bigger halls for just 50 guests, I think most hotels after this lockdown gets realize that there needs to be a premium list charge to this. There is going to be a congestion on us because a lot of freestanding tent houses or wedding halls or places where people used to go and deck up big halls and centers might not work that well with these smaller numbers. So the hotels are going to be busy with it. Not as busy as earlier times, but yes.
But as Ian was saying, that do you think we'll finally see sit-down banqueting happening?
Yes, in quite a few segments, yes, it will happen. But it is also very dependent on the kind of custom and where they come from. It could be the same style of wedding, but the family is coming from another part of the town. Whether people will actually even ask for chefs or really live cooking stations of each dish being cooked and a bigger hall taken just for people to come in and eat after the ceremony.
Right.
That's what will happen.
Right. So one thing that I just realized is that banqueting, the cost of banqueting will go up. I mean, the pricing will go up definitely.
For sure. It's only a matter of time.
Right. So I guess all consumers have to be prepared for that. That's the price they'll have to pay. Which brings me to a question by Kaushik Das and Manas. Kaushik Das, one of our audience members, he says that we have heard of the obstacles and the challenges, but what are the opportunities that you see in this crisis?
Enormous. No, at a very macro level, there are 27 million tourists going out of India internationally.
Right.
Where are they going to go? Whatever be it MICE, be it weddings, be it business conferences, whatever be it, where are they going to go? We'll start with the low-hanging fruit, which is motorable destinations. I will drive from, say, Bangalore to Mysore or Bangalore to Hyderabad or vice versa. Eventually, it will open up within the borders of the country. Now, that's versus 10 million tourists coming into India. That's the inbound volume. It's 3 times of that. So this really is, I mean, there is a very optimistic way to look at this. No questions at all.
So even see a place like, even a place like Bangalore, I mean, you expect there will be people who will be coming in from Mysore or wherever, and similarly people from Bangalore may want to go to, places within motorable distances. Is that what you see?
Absolutely. I mean, every guy who is going from Mysore to Bangkok is now having to turn his wheel and come back to Bangalore. So that's going to be the new destination wheel. And every hotel brand, I think, is also creating interesting staycation packages, things to make it more interesting for them to come. It's part of the entire Discover India campaign as well. I mean, if this was Incredible India, there's no better way to explore it than now. I think there is, of course, there's a very, very dark cloud. There's a very dark cloud. There's a huge silver lining right around it. And once the initial grip of fear loosens a little bit, and things will have to come back to normalcy at some point in time. People will have to have conferences and meets. May not be 100 people meet, may not be a 5,000 people meet. The big fat Indian wedding is become the big slim Indian wedding. It's 50 people. Will spend a lot of money on it, but you will choose the best location you can, the safest location you can. So none of it is going to stop. It's paused but not stopped, is my opinion.
But,
sorry, can I just add on to what Manas had said?
Absolutely.
Yeah, to just answer that question of yours, there's a lot of traffic that's happening, travel from Bangalore, moving out of the city. So for example, we launched something called the 4D package, right? It was Dream, Drive, Discover, and delight yourself. So a lot of our properties, the Coorg property in Coorg, Chikmagalur, as well as we have our Rama Stays and Trails. A lot of them did pretty well in the month of June, the moment we opened up. So we found a lot of people actually driving out. Obviously, those people didn't want to take airplanes because of the safety and hygiene concerns, but in the safety of their car. And if you're able to drive, 5-6 hours, they were willing to do that and, get into an environment which is safe, secure, and, spread out resorts. You're not in one big structure. So that kind of travel is also happening. So that domestic leisure will be the next thing that we will actually.
I think that is a very great opportunity opened up. Mehul, would you like to step in here? Because, you must be
I've been hearing everyone. Of course, they all come from Taj and ITC. I will speak like an entrepreneur. The best thing about being an entrepreneur is that the sky is the limit. You're not governed by any laws and rules of the land. You can think whatever you want to think. So I think one of the biggest opportunities which I see is it has helped a lot of people to think out of the box and come out with ideas, and probably turned out to be a pro entrepreneur. We've had a lot of opportunities in which we're looking at a lot of JVs, a lot of international partners. We're getting robotics into our hotels. A company called Centric based out of US. We're doing a lot of stuff in terms of the staff training, which has never happened in the past. So what the point what I'm trying to make is that an opportunity like this also is telling people to move out of their comfort zone and think out of the box. We currently talked about various staycation packages and all that stuff. But when we talk about business as an entity, and we talk about 10.5 million people, which is traveling the country, what is happening now is that we've decided that whatever is going to happen will happen and should happen within our own terms and conditions. So as an entrepreneur entity with all the other players in the market, we are working together to come out with certain plans which enables and pushes people to travel. How do you do that is something which you would want to do. So tier 2, tier 3 cities, a lot of standalone hotels, a lot of standalone owners are coming to us. The biggest opportunity what I see is that the fixed lease model is phasing out. People are being very averse to a management agreement and a rev share models. It gives a lot of exposure to companies like us to get deeper into the markets. As we are in talks with about 57 odd owners, it only means that people are being very progressive in nature. It also means that it is also giving a lot of chances to the people in those cities to come back and manage hotels in the most professional way. So I think it's a great opportunity if you pick up the right notes from their entire stuff. And opportunity when the entire hospitality and hotel industry, we keep talking about the fact that people have lost their jobs and all that stuff. But I also feel that it's an opportunity for them to come together, consolidate, and try to push the domestic tourism, which is something which was missing from so many years, and giving the industry a proper infrastructure status. That's something which we believe as businessmen, we must do it and move beyond our scope of the hotels which we work.
Right. And what sort of that brings me to Vipini, you've been reading a lot about staycations and all that, and you must be like raring to go. You must be waiting for this, lockdown to open up and getting staycation segment into your hotel. What are you doing to ensure that?
I think everybody pretty much said the same, same thing, that domestic is something which is going to be a focus, and especially for us. Delhi and Gurgaon, NCR basically, South feeder market, and we used to get from Mumbai, we used to get from Calcutta, everybody flying in. So now, with immediate future, until we see this fear factor goes out, staycation is going to be the travel trend, going forward. And we definitely are going to look for very serious staycation where we have all-inclusive, stuff in it. And historically, the guests who used to come and stay with us are the people who actually look for peace and quiet, somewhere go outside the countryside, driving distance. We're only less than 4-hour drive from Delhi. Okay, they come here, they want to have a time and the space where they can spend the way they want it. So this is where Port Bushankar fits in when it comes to staycation. So definitely we're looking forward for a staycation.
No, but in the normal years, say, how big is the staycation market? I mean, it's been around for some time. What's been your experience? And maybe I'll come to you also.
Okay. For us, Yes, staycation market has been there. You know, staycation has been there, especially for short term. So I think what we need to look forward is to increase the number of nights. Okay, the length of stay was shorter. Yeah, for us, you know, Delhi was used to come just drive down for a night or two, but that need to change, and that is going to change, because until the travel is going to ease up and people start feeling comfortable going far. So I personally think that staycation is going to stay for longer, and it will increase the length of stay. So people want to come out for 3 nights, 4 nights, and that's what we used to get. So I see that staycation is going to stay. It was there, but now we need to increase the number of nights.
Yeah, okay. I think that is, I was just told about a US company which is doing that, you know, like which is offering 7 nights or 8 nights or 10 nights, you know, at a particular rate. And, you know, it's not, a lot of people prefer a staycation package like that than staying at home. You know, because it's like a little boredom associated with staying at home.
You know, even though the travel, now we're talking about driving distance. Okay, so driving distance, depending on people, can be 6 hours, 7 hours. But why would you drive for 7 hours and just stay for 1 night somewhere and come back? You know, it's not staycation, right? So you gotta increase your number of nights, and include a lot of stuff. So the culinary experience, whether it is the other experience, whether it is adventurous, it is journeys, you gotta include, you know, just load it and make it look nice. You know, and staycation is all about recharging, you know, just recharge.
Right, exactly. So Kalika, you know, because staycation must be big for you, no? Are people from Delhi coming into your hotel for staycation, or?
I won't call it staycation. I'll call it an urban escape. That's what the package we've launched also. But it's about getting out of your homes and spending time. And a lot of people also fed up doing housework at the moment. So it's more of a break. They are not the 1 week, 10 days, 1 month kinds. What we are seeing in the recent past is people coming for 2 nights. They don't leave the room, but they order in, watch some television, rest, relax, go to the salon, get a nice pedicure or a haircut done, and spend time in the hotel. They don't really step out. But I think it's a break, getting out of your 4 walls into a new set of and an environment you could be safe, secure, and comfortable in. So we have seen that. However, let me just go back to your earlier question on opportunity. I think one of the biggest opportunity we have seen in our city has been home delivery. IHCL launched hospitality at home. What we've taken it to the next level is now known as Cuisine. Cuisine is an online ordering app. And you could actually home deliver meals from your favorite restaurants, including Thai Pavilion at my hotel or the Spicy Duck at Taj Palace, to anywhere in the city with our team. It's not through a delivery agent, it's through people who are trusted, who will come to your doorstep and deliver.
It's your team that delivers the food. Now, are you charging? I mean, what are your rates? Are your rates of the normal?
Rates of the restaurant and the delivery are identical.
Okay.
So we give you the experience in your comfort. So those are opportunities we noticed, and I think it's brilliant that we're getting them to the next level.
Right. So it's a Cuisine. I mean, Ian, I wanted to ask you also about Cuisine. You know, how has it worked for your hotels?
So at the moment, Sorish, we have started the hospitality at home, which we did in the month of April, where we did delivery of all our restaurants to people in their homes, and it gave us very good traction in the city of Hyderabad. In fact, across a lot of our cities. The Cuisine app has just been recently launched, and it's currently offline, and it's running currently in Mumbai for 3 of our hotels in Mumbai, and probably in a couple of weeks, I think by the end of this month, we should have that online as well. The Cuisine app, which can order from any of our restaurants across.
It's a very important move made by a big chain like Taj, you know, where you have an app launched by your company with so many restaurants, you know, which are part of your, you know.
Yeah. So I think for us, 2 things. One is obviously all of us know that, you know, necessity is the mother of all inventions. So probably if we were not all, locked down like this, probably we would not have thought of this. But, like Mehul was saying earlier, we have to keep innovating and, thinking of new things. So I guess from that, did this actually emanate of actually having our own? The reason for an own app was there are delivery partners that I think that some hotel chains are using, but we thought of having our own so that from end to end we can actually contain this entire thing of safety protocol, hygiene, etc., etc. So we thought we were a lot more in control of that. Hence, we wanted to launch our own, app. And as well as we go forward, I think all of us know that digitalization is going to be, the new thing for hotels. So from personalized, intimate, close service, warm and caring, close service, I think, it's going to be digitalization. So I think in lieu of that, this app was also very, very important.
I think Zomato and Swiggy have something to worry about. So, Kunal, what has been your experience? You have a similar home delivery service?
No,
and Manas, I'll also come to you because ITC also has launched home delivery in a big way. So, Kunal first.
Okay, so we did started by delivering from our direct ordering with our customers, but then we have also decided to go with all platforms available in the market right now. So we are available on every platform. That's one segment we opened. I'm sure at some stage we are also going to be doing our own app, which I think is in some kind of a POC format right now. Apart from just dining in, I think something which, when we were talking about business opportunities, what's really working for us in Bangalore seems to be work from hotel, where a lot of our partners who do these single, 2-unit, 3-unit offices seem to be coming up with these queries, and that seems to be generating a lot of push, and we've kind of customized it to fit that solution in. Staycations was always great for us. We would generally do about 15% on a weekend.
Where do you get your clientele from?
No, staycation for me is when people living in Bangalore stay in Bangalore. If they come from outside, they're just vacation.
Traveling.
Right? It's any vacation. So, but now that number is a bit lower because people are still not very sure if they should start venturing out and staying in hotels. But I find that perfectly normal. I know in Bangalore, people are very rule abiding, and I think they will take some time before they start exploring and staying out as much. But that's opening up already.
That's right. So you are coming up with an app, which again, as I said, is serious challenge for aggregators. Manas, what about you? ITC also has launched a similar service, a home delivery service, hasn't it?
We started with takeaway to begin with.
Right.
Which meant that the guests had to drive into the hotel, pick up and go away. Right. And pretty much within 24 hours after launching it, we got so much attraction that we expanded the menu. We started with a smaller menu, we expanded the menu thereafter. Right. And now we took some time to partner with existing aggregators because we wanted to make sure that all the boxes on cleanliness and hygiene and sanitation, all those are ticked. And once we came to an agreement that this is what you will do with our food, now we are live with Zomato and Swiggy across the country.
Right. So as of now, you don't have a plan to have your own app, or you don't want to go that route yet?
I think it's early days. Early days.
Right.
Just to add, Sorish, for all those who want to create their app, it's very expensive and very difficult, strong entry barriers.
I disagree. I disagree, Ian, with you. It's not difficult, not expensive. You need to have right partners who build up for you and be with you for a long term.
Maybe we thought you were ex-Taj.
Well, I have my own company now, but it's not expensive.
I'm sure he must be selling an app also.
We'll just piggyback on Ian and Mehul whenever the time comes.
Yeah.
Well, absolutely. I'm going to put you close to certain companies which will not. Well, since you're cash rich, so I don't think the money should be a problem with you.
I was about to say,
we also own an internet company, so
the cigarette money keeps it alive. I think that will take care of you for several generations. So But it
No,
is
but
anyway.
if I may respond, I think technology is going to be very central to everything that we do here. Going forward, we're looking at perhaps contactless. While contactless, many orderings already happening. There could be a time when there'd be contactless elevators, contactless concierges. There's a lot of technology that's going to play a very critical role in our business going forward. So yeah, the technology is going to be the new trust. So it's true. An app is only months away, perhaps. Serving what purpose we'll see, but clearly we are now in the digital world, even in luxury hotellerie.
So lots of work for the chief engineers, I see. I think they'll all now become the new heroes of the new normal. I see are the microbiologists and the chief engineers. I think they're the hidden faces of hotels. Now they'll all come to the forefront. And
the amount of chemistry we've learned in the last 3 weeks, I know what sodium hypochlorite 1% is. So, there was this general manager in one of our earlier webinars.
All that we have avoided all through our life.
And he used to always talk, whenever he would meet me earlier, he would always talk about bottom line. I've got so much of operating profit. In fact, I learned the term GOP from him, I didn't know what GOP meant, what 5 years ago, Then I learned it from him, So now he only talks about sodium hypochlorite. I said, yeah, big change in your life. From GOP, it has become, I don't know what is the short form of hypochlorite, but he only talks about sodium hypochlorite, Anirban, you have been, silent for a long time. So tell me, what are, as a hotel, you are open, all these ideas can work. Home delivery, staycation, working from hotel can definitely work in your case because you're in an area where IT industry is so big, So what are the opportunities do you see for yourself?
I think quite a few opportunity is slowly cropping up. It might take time to get rolled out and establish themselves as individual businesses. But first of all, I would say the biggest opportunity here is, as the business becomes more technical, more technology driven, I think there will be a lot of opportunity for the professionals or the brands to establish themselves better. Because it will require professional management, it will require expertise. Secondly, I think the trend going forward will be quality over quantity. So people will focus more on quality, right from banquets to anything that we see, because mass gathering will be off for quite a bit of time. So I would imagine people will focus more on quality than quantity. Third thing, I would say, as Manas also had mentioned, that there's a huge opportunity in capturing the outbound tourists that were there, and that will also result in one more thing, I guess, that is because Indians will stay in India, they will tend to discover more. So more discovery within the country will happen, more nooks and corners, more interesting places will be found out and discovered. So I think that is another area probably we are going to see for the next few months or.
But Anirban, coming to your hotel specifically, you're in Greater Noida. How do you get people coming to your hotel? I mean, what is there in it?
Our hotel actually had quite a few set of.
I'm not talking about the present situation where you're getting, doctors and all. I'm talking about, say, 3 months later or 6 months later.
There are a lot of project work which is happening, international project work which is happening. So people have to travel to kind of, work for their companies. So that is still going to happen. We are already getting queries and very big projects, as you know, including the Jewar Airport, which is coming up. So a lot of these top quality international companies will have to engage themselves in a lot of construction and project work. So project work may not be so easy to manage remotely. So a lot of travel has to happen. So I think that is definitely going to be there. Apart from that, we were very much dependent on all the expos that were happening. So that is a huge dent in our business in the short run. Because I don't see big events happening.
One of your clients, IHE 2020.
Yeah, I think we'll kickstart with that.
I think so. Now, 2nd to 5th December. Remember the new dates, and so hopefully it'll be a physical exhibition and not
absolutely
virtual as it's claimed.
I think that will be our advertisement to the outside world that it is safe to have big exhibitions.
Good.
I think that is going to happen. And apart from that, yes, food delivery definitely is an opportunity. Housekeeping services, laundry services are opportunities because a lot of these households which are skeptical using regular laundry services are inclined to take services.
Have you opened up to them? I mean, this is a big.
We have just begun. We have just begun at a very small scale, but not at a commercial level. So that is another area, and I think apart from that, what I have also seen as an opportunity is the overlapping of services. Like the hospitals now know our businesses better than before, and we know their businesses better than before. So a lot of services can be overlapped, or expertise can be shared. So that is another thing that probably can be looked into or explored.
So, Bini, I give you the you come from the little village called Bishangarh, which is making waves. But so I give you the last word on the subject, specifically because now a lot of these things that people are talking about may not work in your case, and I have, of course, so what are your opportunities that you see? And second, I have a question about your lovely organic garden. What are you doing about the produce from the organic garden now?
Okay, well, that's a good question, actually, and I was hoping that you asked me that question, so thank you very much. I have to tell you, the USP, our USP was always has been our experiences, whether it is local experience or bespoke journeys when it comes to eco-luxury. That's what we always do, and it is very close to our heart as Alila, and that's, in any Alila hotels you go, that's what we do. When it comes to eco-luxury, and that's our organic garden. And we have these 3 acres of organic farm. We hate to call it garden because it's more than a garden, it's 3 acres of a farm. We grow seasonal stuff. We grow seasonal, regional, where the guest comes in, they can go have a look at what they want. You go with the chef, take it around, take it straight with the chef and pick what they want. And the chef will actually cook it for them. And this is exactly what the guest likes when they come here. The other thing which we have done is, and you'll appreciate it, something called 0 Mile. So we have started the 0 Mile Cuisine at Lila Fort Bishangarh, where the guests can sign up. So what happens is anything which is produced or grown within the 0 Mile of the hotel is what we actually buy in. And that actually also helps our commitment towards the local community. So 0 Mile, actually, you bring in the stuff, either we grow or we bring it in from the local village, and we cook for the guests. So one example is the 0 Mile breakfast, where we do bajre ki roti, makke ki raab, you do some lasan chutney. Guest loves it, In that 0 Mile, what we don't do is tea, because tea is not necessarily 0 Mile. So instead of tea, we serve chas, and which is from the local milk. So these are the stuff which we actually do. Other than the adventure.
Do you think now there is an opportunity that you have, that you open the restaurant and let people come in and enjoy all this? They don't have to stay in the hotel, but they can come for the restaurant. Is that possible? Or
we are thinking about it. We're actually looking at it, but the only challenge is we're about 70 kilometers away from Jaipur,
right.
And we are off 6 kilometers off the national highway. So it's not quite feasible to keep the restaurant open and then wait for somebody to show up one day. It's not, we're still exploring that option. It's too early for that.
Yeah, I guess you'll have to wait a little longer.
Exactly.
Now, great. I think we have had a lot of takeaways from this session. Plenty of interesting ideas. I was seeing our chairman, Mr. Rakesh Kumar. Mr. Kumar, are you there? Okay, no, I think he's gone now. Yeah. Chairman sir, could you give your final words, and then we can bring the
I
session
think
to a close?
better you conclude, but it was really a very interesting, very useful, and in fact, a very in-depth discussion on the issue. Thanks to all the eminent panelists. So I think we all are just waiting for normal time to come and a good business ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, great. Thank you all. Thank you for coming and for sparing your time. We hope to be in touch with you. And remember, IHE 2020 is on 2nd to 5th December. And we'll have a lot of action then on the ground. Hopefully.
All the best.
Thank you,
Thank you
Sarish.
so.
Thank you.
so much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Have a good evening ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay.